20 years in business takes you from being a fly-by-night restaurant into being an institution. Over the years, Dixie Bones has become synonymous with barbecue in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. If you ask anyone who has been in this area for a few years to name good barbecue, Dixie Bones will always be on the list, if not at the very top. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got started with barbecue and Dixie Bones.
Well, I grew up in Birmingham, so you're in an area that's already, Birmingham, Alabama, so you're in an area already that's just known for different kinds of barbecue. One of my favorite ones was a place called Ollie's, which isn't there anymore. And when I was, as I say, when I was growing up, we would go down there at least once or twice a week. And when I moved to Washington in the 1980s, I was in the real estate business. And I got tired of watching the market go up and watching the market go down and watching the market go up. And I decided that at least I could feed myself and my family if I got in the restaurant business. So I did. I started in Georgetown with a little carryout, then moved over to Capitol Hill with a restaurant called Heads, which was on the corner of First and D.
Last name?
Yeah, we couldn't figure out what else to call it. We didn't call it anything for a while.
Right.
And the lease expired, which let me out of it. And at that time we were there in the early 90s, Capitol Hill was really kind of a weird place. You know, 3 blocks from where we were. As I say, we were at First and D, but 3 blocks from where we were was just it was a pretty rugged area. When the lease expired, we moved down here because we wanted to open up a real true, there it was a bar and typical sort of Capitol Hill restaurant. We served barbecue and we served Southern food. We did a lot of hamburgers and a lot of salads and a lot of things like that. Then we moved down here in 1995. When that lease expired, we were going to do both, but then we couldn't reach terms on a new lease. This let us really set up a true Southern cafe and barbecue house, which is what we've got here at Dixie Bones. And we've been here since 1995.
I can't help but feel moved and transported into that old Southern tradition where barbecue is more than just food. It's a way of life passed down over generations. Now, where did the barbecue influence come from? So why barbecue versus just sticking with hamburgers, hot dogs, other kind of things?
Well, 2 real reasons. One, we didn't find that there was a real barbecue place here. You had Red Hot and Blue that had been successful. It was, Famous Dave's, which used to be Red River, and a couple of others were doing it. But none of them, in my opinion, were doing it in the proper setting with a Southern menu of other things besides barbecue, such as the collard greens and the macaroni and cheese and those sorts of things that we make every day here.
Well, Nelson believes in providing an authentic Southern experience that just tastes and feels right. I noticed some pictures on the wall that at first appeared to be just decoration, but later found out today was the 45th anniversary of Nelson getting his pilot wings. So the man is not only a great restaurateur, but was also an F-4 pilot. So, Nelson, it's my first time at Dixie Bones. What am I getting? What are you recommending?
I recommend you get what the name implies, which are the ribs, because they're my mother's recipe for ribs. They're smoked. We marinate them, and they smoked for 4 or 5 hours. You're going to have some of my mother's homemade sauce on it, and that's what I'd recommend. That, collard greens, macaroni cheese, some fresh cornbread. That's a Southern meal.
And how about to wash it all down?
You have sweet iced tea. That's exactly what you wanted.
Wonderful.
Unlike other people that just have the machines that, drip tea, we actually boil water and put tea bags in it.
Sounds like a foreign concept.
It's amazing what happens when you do that.
The preparation and the ingredients that were used many years ago are the same ones that you're using today, or has taste changed, evolved?
No, I think that that is the real key to how we operate and how I think good restaurants operate. Everybody will say it's all about the ingredients. It's all about the ingredients. Well, yes, it's all about the ingredients. Use cheap mayonnaise, it's going to taste cheap. Use Hellman's mayonnaise, which we grew up with. It's much more expensive, but it's the right flavor. If you want to make collard greens, you need to make fresh collard greens. You need to use, we use actually the parts of the pork that we've smoked and make a broth out of it and then cook the greens in it. But that's how you're going to make fresh collard greens. If you're going to steam cabbage, you steam it just like they used to do in a skillet. We don't do it in skillets, but but you cook some onions in there and cook a little pork in there with it, and then you let the cabbage steam because it's got a lot of water in it. Ah, look what has come for
Oh
lunch.
my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
Look what's here for dinner. Hey, we're gonna need some forks and knives too. Sorry.
Wow. So I'm looking at some macaroni and cheese, some collard greens,
Piece of fresh cornbread.
fresh cornbread.
And my mother's ribs.
Wow.
Now, I suggest you we don't put much sauce on it at all. Hardly
Okay,
any.
so
Just pour a little bit of that.
I'm
on.
following your lead. So just a little bit, just to
don't take
drizzle
much.
along the.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
take
oh,
much.
it comes out quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a thick sauce, it's a thin sauce. Thank you.
Do you recommend the sauce with any of the other sides? Maybe a little bit on the macaroni and
People
cheese?
mix it in everything. They'll pour the vinegar-based sauce in the collard greens, even though that's got some in there already.
Okay, let's see what we got here. 20 years later, Nelson, where are we seeing Dixie Bones in the future?
We have opened a place in Fredericksburg, and we are considering opening another place in the future. We don't want to grow too big. We really are opening these more for allowing the permanent staff that's done so well about the places that we're in, giving them some room to grow and to take on some more responsibilities. What makes a barbecue house successful? It's longevity. It's generations of people eating that same food. Then it becomes their favorite. Doesn't mean that they won't go somewhere else. And we get people who come back and say, well, I was here, but it doesn't match yours. It doesn't match yours. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got more to do with the flavor they're used to and the way they want it served. And when they go somewhere else, it doesn't taste quite the same, therefore it's not the same. I still think Ollie's makes the best barbecue in the world, even though they're not there. Even though they're not there. I can't do what those guys did.